Let's go ahead and let's stop it. We can start the record in 3 minutes if you want, Amy.
I just started it.
All right, that's fine.
Minute 2.
All right, 11:59. I'm gonna hit the go button. I'll do a quick introduction, Michael, of you just to walk through this slide. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Welcome everybody to part 2 of our Camera to Cloud webinar series. We're going to get started in about 4 minutes from now. I'd like to introduce Michael Cioni, but specifically this slide, we have a little homework assignment if you guys would like to live participate. Michael, why don't you take it away?
Thank you. Excited to be here. I know we'll get started in just a few, as Lance said, but if you want to participate in kind of a world first, a very interesting proof of cloud first transmission and collaboration, you can do that. And to do that, you need to sign up for a free Frame.io account. That's where you start. And so you can kind of go to frame.io and start signing up there. And then you need to be invited into the project. So if your email, if you want to be participated in this, you got to be invited into our project. So you can put in the chat your email, and then Dave and Laura here will grab that email and they'll send you an invitation. But you got to have a Frame.io account first. And then there's an app, and we'll talk about the app later, but there's an app called Magic Viewfinder. And the specific one is Magic Airy Viewfinder. If you download that from the Apple App Store, you can set that up and you'll actually be able to, if this works, it's going to be awesome. But what you're going to be able to do is we'll have a bunch of people be able to shoot from their home, from wherever you are. You'll be able to shoot into a single project. And that's a very, very powerful demonstration of technology that doesn't exist anywhere else. This is a really fresh new technological breakthrough of collaboration that we just launched about 2 weeks ago. So there's actually a link there. We can actually put that link in the chat. Maybe we put that link in the chat as well, so that they can copy paste it. Maybe Dave or Laura grab this actual link here and give it to them so that they can click through it. Or you can type it in. It's short enough. Maybe you can type it. But that will allow you to watch a quick tutorial for the next couple minutes on how to actually set up Magic Viewfinder as you go through the process. So totally up to you. We'd love to have you join in the participation, or you can watch, because if you watch it happen, you'll get it. You'll see what's happening. If it works, it'll be pretty profound to see all these.
We got a few emails already coming in there, Michael. So good job.
Great. This will be fun. And it's a really interesting way to show collaboration on a new level. And that's what's been great talking with CHESA about this, is like, we're really trying to motivate real change, permanent change in cloud workflows. And we had a session 1 a couple of weeks ago. It went great. It was real fun. And I think all of us felt like, let's dive in a little deeper. And so we're really excited to take you through the next level here.
Excellent, everybody. We'll start in about 2 minutes. But if you'd like to join in the live participation, go ahead and follow those directions in that link in the chat room.
Yeah, Laura just mentioned you'll get an invitation in your email. Once you sign up for Frame.io and you provide your email, Laura and Dave will invite you. You'll get an invitation, and then you can you'll start seeing my project. You're gonna be invited into my project. I'm adding you to my world to be able to collaborate together. And it's fun to consider what we're doing here is sort of like a real production: news, sports, cinema, episodic. A real production is gonna have people who don't necessarily know each other be collaborating together. And this is going to demonstrate how easy that is once you're in the Frame.io family, how easy it is to do it. So, and with lots of different tools. We're going to have cameras today. We're going to have audio today. And you're even going to get to use your own iPhone. So pretty exciting to see how this all comes together. If it works, we're doing trapeze without a net here. That's what this is. We don't know if this will work. But if it does, it'll be a little bit of a world first.
We have faith in you, Michael.
Thank you.
All right, well, it's 12:04. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Michael, if you want to go to the next slide for me. Again, this is our part 2 series of our camera to cloud. Cloud first production, or keep your head in the clouds is another terminology we've been using, but welcome everybody. My name is Lance Hukel. I'm Chief Commercial Officer for CHESA. Next slide, I'd like to introduce everybody who will be participating on the panel. So go quick agenda, I'm sorry. We'll do some introductions. I'll do a little 30-second piece on CHESA, then we'll go right into Frame.io in the live demo, and then we'll wrap up with the panel. All right, so introductions here. We have, I already mentioned myself, Michael Cioni from Adobe, now Frame.io, now Adobe. Morgan Proxy, also from Adobe. We have Tom Fernette, a guest customer of ours, a Golden State Warrior, so welcome. And then last but not least, Tom Keene, one of our senior solutions architects for CHESA. All right, now a quick introduction for CHESA. We're a national systems integrator. We have locations and people, team members coast to coast. And we mostly focus on the US-based business, but our focus is media supply chain. If you want to go to the next slide real quick. We manage end-to-end media supply chains from media asset management to ingest all the way to distribution, archive, repurposing. So we do full media supply chain solutions. We're a 30-young company. We have 50+ team members nationwide and growing. We have 100+ service level agreements with our customers. We do have this philosophy of supporting what we sell. So we embrace our ability to be a single throat to choke for our customers. From an authorized reseller and support provider, this is just some of the sample vendors that we partner with. I'd like to highlight Adobe specifically because they have a new program called Adobe Video Solution Partner, and we're one of only a couple in the entire nation that has that designation. So very, very proud to be a part of the Adobe ecosystem. With that, Michael, I'm going to hand it over to you to take over on the Frame.io side.
Thank you so much, Lance. And just thanks for everyone to join, and specifically CHESA for inviting us to do this. The ability to educate and be forward thinking is such a rare commodity sometimes, because I think as humans, we're predisposed to like stay the same. Like that's how we're programmed for survival, right? Like let's not change, and let's change as slowly as we have to, right? And CHESA has just been a really great partner in advocating change and making it easy. And so we're thankful for you and your support, the integrations that you provide to help customers that want to be progressive to be able to do that without getting hurt along the way. And so that's why I enjoy working with CHESA, and I'm really thankful to be a part of this program. Frame.io recently got acquired by Adobe. And what's really interesting about Frame.io is that right now about 40,000 people are signing up every 30 days for the platform. It's really becoming a massive product because it's offering a new way to centralize things in a way that's never happened before. So about 10,000 people a week are signing up for Frame.io. And it's because of this excitement around that, we're really excited about bringing collaboration in a new level across the industry. Frame.io is available on desktop, iPad, and iOS. And so it sort of goes wherever you need it to be, and it allows it to be accessible pretty much anywhere in the world. And that's what's helping grow this. But the reason we're here today is, to me, very personal. This is a very personal story because Camera to Cloud has been an initiative that I've been passionate about for almost 10 years, just about 10 years. And it's the idea that today we've been predisposed to slow transitions. If you think about the difference between film and digital, the time it takes to shoot film and get it to an editor and the time it takes to shoot digitally and get it to an editor are not that different. They're actually pretty similar. And the breakthrough that we're about to go through together is actually going from cameras directly to the cloud. And that's what today's about, because we've been pushing this really far. And the first question a lot of people ask is like, well, why do we really need this? Why does the world need C2C? Well, the number one reason why you're going to need Camera to Cloud is because you are not patient, right? You hate waiting. People hate waiting for cookies, right? Like I don't want to wait for cookies coming out of the oven. It takes too long. As soon as they start smelling good, I burn myself trying to get it early because I don't want to wait any longer. We hate waiting in line. When you go to Disneyland, waiting in line is terrible. People hate waiting in line. If we hate waiting for things, we also hate waiting for hard drives to show up in shipping in the mail. Like, why do we wait for that? We are literally preventing ourselves from activating creative people by the act of waiting. And the world doesn't want to wait. Creative people don't want to wait. Stakeholders don't want to wait. And David Fincher once told me one of the most difficult feelings, one of the most difficult problems about working on sets is anxiety. And information and access to media reduces anxiety. And that's ultimately what Camera to Cloud is going to bring, which is why it's going to become a standard. All of you, regardless of the market you work in, are part of some form of a universal workflow backbone. Your backbone to your workflows probably looks like something like this. We have picture and sound. You have to download and ship that media from wherever you're shooting to your post lab. Maybe you are your own post lab, and then it can get to an editor, and then you archive. What Camera to Cloud effectively does is skips download and shipping, so you can deliver assets right to a lab, or you could even skip the lab if you're doing that yourself, and you can go right to an editing room. That means it takes these processes and makes it parallel instead of linear. So now picture and sound and lab and editorial can happen on top of each other, and download and shipping and things like archive, they still happen, but they are no longer time barriers that prevent you from being able to start the creative process, reducing anxiety, increasing creative control. This is the biggest breakthrough in control of connecting you with your collaborators and your audiences. This is not just about collaborators. We're going to go to Tom Fernandez in a little bit, and he's going to show how he's using this technique to actually connect his camera to the audience without post-production, which is an incredible new way, a completely fascinating and new way to leverage cinema technology and connect it with an audience. If there's one slide that I'd love everyone to really hone in on, it's this. This is a slide that's taken me many years to put together. It is conjecture, but I have shown this to a lot of really significant and intelligent people, and we all are starting to agree on what this slide is starting to tell. What we're talking about here is cloud first workflow. And if you think about where you use the cloud in your workflow, if your workflow, let's say your workflow is 10 elements long, the cloud is usually used in slot like 2 or 3 or 4. From some people, it's like 5, 6, or 7. The cloud is used in post-production. It's used later in the process. What we're talking about here is a cloud first workflow where cloud is the primary starting point for everything. And over the next 10 years, everyone's going to move to cloud first workflows. Chances are today, you're not using a cloud first workflow. And so this is because today you're relying on shuttle drives to activate editorial and post-production and visual effects and review and color correction and things like that. That is a system, but by 2031, there'll be no more shuttle drives. So how is this going to play out? Well, this is the prediction on a path over 10 years to cloud first workflow. In 2021, today, we start with an external proxy upload, meaning our cameras have a little box on them, and our cameras can shoot a proxy file using cell phone, internet technology, and publish that to the editor. So it's external and it's proxy, so it's small. By 2026, most cameras, the professional grade cameras, are going to do internal proxies. So they won't need an external box to capture media. They'll do it internally, and then they will publish a proxy directly to the cloud. But by 2028, the world's average global bandwidth will increase enough that cameras will start to publish raw files, original camera files. They'll be able to publish directly to the cloud in a lot of locations internationally, which means we are now keeping the media internal, but we've switched from proxy to OCF. And those files are going to live in the cloud. They're never going to be downloaded. By the year 2028, everything you do will be cloud-based. So you won't download and have local hard drives and local SANs. You'll just be editing, color correcting, reviewing, all completely remotely. And then by 2031, cameras won't have removable media. If you think about the most popular camera in the world, it's a smartphone, right? And the smartphone doesn't have removable media. And so the point is the technology, the principles inside of shooting in a smartphone are going to travel into cinema and broadcast and news, and you won't pull out cards. Cameras will have internal caches. And if you do the math, an SD card in 2031 will have as much as 2.5 petabytes stored on it. So you can store a lot of media inside an internal camera cache, and you could use the 2031 equivalent of AirDrop to like transmit terabytes per second, presumably. But the point is you won't have a removable download media workflow. And so this is a path to cloud first. And over the next 10 years, different groups, different pain points, different adoption rates will start to do this. And today in 2021, we are doing external proxies and it's working beautifully. The way that we're doing this is going to affect every single market, because cinema obviously can leverage this because we shoot everywhere, but sports can leverage this because you have home games, away games, you have people that are fans, you have people that are going to review, you have sports coaches that want to see this stuff, you have family members that want to see this stuff. And then of course in news, today news is using a lot of camera to cloud technologies, but they're using it in a live sense, and it's harder to post-produce, it's harder to edit, it's harder to relink. And so there's new applications that we're going to see permeate through every single market. And the way we're doing that today is with 3 partners to start. Camera to Cloud came out earlier in 2021, and our video proxy recording, the video side, is Teradek. They make a product called the Cube, and the Cube is the proxy recorder that transmits and makes the connection between a camera and the cloud. Our audio partners are Sound Devices and Aton. These are professional external audio recorders that can record directly to the cloud. This is the first technology of its kind where you can record hero audio into the cloud, uncompressed linear multi-channel audio into the cloud. So the people on set working have the ability to do the same job they've always done. On the left, the audio mixer on set is capturing audio, doing everything they would normally do, except in the background, it's publishing the audio to Frame.io automatically. On the right, your camera operators, your Steadicam, your cranes, your drones, they can take and shoot as they normally would, and it's transmitting that time-coded, clip-named file directly into Frame.io, where it's transmitted from there. And these are the list of the cameras that are supported here. So hopefully, this is a list we're very proud of for our version 1 of Camera to Cloud. It supports a lot of cameras in the market. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of cameras represented here across all these portfolios of cameras, because there's so many cameras made by manufacturers that are compatible. And this allows a little bit of everybody to be able to touch and explore a Camera to Cloud, cloud first workflow. But that's enough of talking about it. The real fun part is actually to demonstrate this. And so we want to actually show it to you in a demonstration. And so what I'm going to do is switch over to Frame.io. And this is my account. And I know we've invited a bunch of people to the account. I think there's a whole bunch here. We can see there's 28 people here that are joined inside the project, which is great. So I know that means there were some new ones that came in the last few minutes. So welcome to my project. Well, what you're seeing right here is a folder called Cloud Devices, and Cloud Devices is actually producing a date. And I know there's already a folder here and there's a date in here because some of you are testing the integration with stills. And so we'll come to that in a second. We're going to come to stills in a second. But what I want to show you is my camera, my Zoom camera right here is a red helium camera. So I'm shooting a red helium. I also have a separate system microphone here that is connected to my audio devices, my Sound Devices recorder. So I have separate picture and sound. I know not everybody uses separate picture and sound, but that's actually a lot more complicated of a workflow. If you do separate picture and sound, you're going to love what we see here. You can always run audio into a camera and embed the audio into the video file, but we're not going to show that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit record on my camera and record on my sound. And I want you to watch my screen and see what happens. So I'm recording here. This is Michael in Los Angeles. I'm in a hotel, don't judge me, in a Burbank hotel, coming from Los Angeles and sending clips to you. Now I'm going to cut. And what we're going to see happen here is Frame.io is automatically going to update, and it just created category folders. So it knows that audio is its own category. It knows video is its own category, and it knows stills is its own category. And the stills I know you're all contributing to, but audio and video are what I just contributed to. And now Frame.io just recognized an overlap of time code between audio and video, and it just created a sync folder, which is a beta product we have right now for people that want to try that in beta. If I go into my audio directory, I can see my audio asset. This is an actual WAV file asset. So this is the uncompressed linear PCM broadcast WAV file. In my video asset, I have my A camera. And inside the A camera, I could see my clip name. And inside the clip name, I have all additional metadata here. And I can see that this is the red original clip file name. So this is a red file name. And I shot this at 11:08 in the morning on the time code of my sound devices. Oh, and I can see someone's making a comment. How fun. Thanks, Dave. Thank you. And so Dave's making notations here. And so we're actually seeing that. Yeah. Cool, Jamie. At Jamie, and I could give you a notification. So this is the type of thing that integration starts to happen, because for those of you that were invited to the project, you're already getting a taste of what collaboration can look like. We can even go a step further. If Dave says, nice shirt, check this collar out, I can go in, I can get my picture and pen, and I can just start drawing right on the frame and making those notations, and we can collaborate together. So this is a picture of all the integration opportunities here. And I want to show you one more attribute. If I shoot another take, here is take 2. This is take 2. And I'm going to do one more. Here is take 3. This is take 3. You can see as I'm doing this, it's updating the assets in real time. It's moving the clips through, and it's publishing them automatically. My audio and my video and my audio video sync is starting to generate audio automatically synced assets. So if I play this asset right here, you'll be able to hear audio and video together. This is Michael in Los Angeles. I'm in a hotel. Don't judge me. So this is how we're actually now striping together picture and sound into an automatic location here. So we talked about these categories. We got AV sync, we got video, we got audio, we got all these things coming together, and we generated several takes that are being assembled together, and several different categories. Another category is stills, and this is what's really exciting. All of you are starting to transmit. Look at all these devices that are all these people are providing. Look at we got dogs here. This is so fun. We got dogs here. So you're generating these assets, and we can actually see the assets. And because we're using Magic Area Viewfinder, this matches the viewfinder of the particular area camera you've set up with, and we're capturing that metadata. We can go out to all these people. We're starting to see Lance is here. We got someone just started uploading right here. Christopher's uploading. I have taken this picture, Christopher, of my keyboard many times. Oh, and you're doing video too. So Christopher's actually transmitting video. Nice job. I mean, what's happening right now, I'm going to click on this button here called C2C Connections. These are all of you people connected into my project. Look at this. Everybody here. And if these other people are joined, Anthony, if you've joined, or looks like other people here have joined. If you come in and actually check out your project, you can start to see the assets coming in and publishing more and more. So feel free to open up your Magic Viewfinder, and as you turn it on, we're going to get more and more projects uploaded. And so here are people uploading right now. Jonathan, very nice. He's shooting stills and shooting video. Very cool to see this actually working. All of you are acting as collaborators. So imagine if you're on a production, as easily as you got set up and we now have this group of people collaborating, you're now contributing to the project. Imagine if your hair and makeup, if your wardrobe, if your VFX, if your art department, if your locations, if you're a gaffer, if you're a cinematographer, a location scout, everything that you're doing using Magic Viewfinder and a C2C connection, you're able to take these C2C connections and be able to publish that right into Frame.io. It's automatically going to be cataloged by the date and the person who uploaded it. And so this is an incredible breakthrough sort of in technology where we can connect all these things together. Here's someone else that just joined and is adding an asset right now. So if you are in the project, you should take out Magic Viewfinder now, shoot a picture of me on the screen, I guess, and it'll be kind of meta, but this is how we can actually transmit and collaborate together and get notifications and share and actually integrate. Oh, this is cool. We got some pictures of it looks like a Sony camera here. Nice. Are you on the go right now? Is this yeah, you got your camera bag right there. I don't see a cube on here, so you got to talk to the team, and CHESA will get you a cube, and then you can shoot everything in the field to the cloud. But all this is happening. It's cool to see all this coming together. There we go. Here's a meta moment right here. There I am transmitting right now. Like this is crazy if you think about your real-time transmitting back, and we're all able to see and collaborate together. And every time a new file is added, it's populating and creating an organized directory and sharing that together. There's something else I want to show. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let Morgan jump in here. And Morgan, if you could talk us through how now we can share my assets, my video assets, back to the collaborators so they can see what that looks like.
Yeah, sure thing. So I'm in the CHESA Camera to Cloud demo project at the moment. And if you notice, there's the AV sync folder that Michael was just going over. We can right click on this and hit share, and we can send out a presentation link. And the cool part about this is we can control who has access to all of these files. We can either do invite only, or we can create a public link as well, or completely close it off for that matter. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this share link here. I can drop it in.
Actually, you got to set it to public. It was on invite.
There we go. Let's try that again. Share presentation. And for some reason, it's invite only right now.
We took it away. So I wonder if I changed permissions here. That's my bad. This is our security at work, which is doing its job because Morgan is not allowed to share links, which is kind of part of the process. So Morgan, just give me 10 seconds to see if I can change that for you.
In the meantime, just some logistics, everybody. We are recording this, and we will try to get it reposted for repurposing for anyone that has missed it or you want to share it with somebody. And then secondly, we have some questions on the Q&A channel being open. I think we have 5 and 1 answered. We'll try to get to those down towards the panel event, but we also have some people contributing to answers live. So keep the Q&A going in that portal versus the chat.
Yeah, so Morgan, I've got you in a situation where you're not going to be allowed to share this. Unfortunately, the security is doing its job, but if what Morgan was doing was sharing a presentation link. So I do want to do that. I apologize, Morgan. I put you in a bad spot.
Oh, that's quite all right.
Morgan doesn't have permission to do that, but I do because this is my account. And this is part of the technology that we use to provide security, like watermark and the ability to download or not download. And so what I'm going to do is copy this and actually put it in the chat. And this link right here, for those of you not in the project, now you have the ability to click on the link and you can actually see the assets as well transmitted into your world. So you're getting dailies delivered to you. And as I add new takes, they will transmit it as well. So if I add a 4th take, this is take 4, I think, take 4. Even though that take was shot after I delivered a presentation link, in about 30 seconds, if you refresh the link I provided you, you're going to get that 4th take delivered to you. So it's all about that. I want to show you one more element of categorical power here, which is going to be right here. So this is my iPhone, and I'm going to open up the product ZoeLog. ZoeLog is a really cool camera reporting app. So this is where you can go through and log all the cameras. This is a real camera report on a project that I recently shot. And if I go to share at the bottom, I can see there's a Frame.io connection, and it's connected to the CHESA C2C demo. So if I move my phone over to the side and I hit send, it generates a new folder automatically. And you see, it recognizes that's a camera report. Inside the camera report, it knows it's Cioni ZoeLog. And inside that, I get a CSV, an RTF, and a PDF. So that quickly, I'm now collaborating documents. And see, what we're really creating here is this concept of C2C connections, which are different products that actually allow people to collaborate together. So you're all collaborating here. And the idea is that other apps like Pomfret or Colorfront, we did Magic Viewfinder and ZoeLog. We're going to see more and more people collaborating to an API that Frame.io produces for free so that products can collaborate. That way, as more and more products collaborate this way, you get to see more and more attributes get automatically filtered and organized and distributed. I could even distribute the entire directory like this. And if I distributed it to everyone, it would look like this. And I could send that to everyone. And now every single asset, oh, I didn't copy it. That was the old one. Every single asset here, if I hit copy, now you'll have access to every single asset in a review link. So you can comment on it and things like that. And everybody would see the date, and you get all these categories filled out. So this is something that's easily shareable, and it's all about cloud first collaboration. That's really what it's all about here. And that's what we're trying to do. And so hopefully you've all seen, those of you that want to participate were able to do that. The question is, where is this going to go? Well, it comes down to transmission. See, this is really cool. This is a friend of mine. His company is called Sclera Digital. His name's Willis Chung, Willis at scleradigital.com. Willis makes portable modems that go on cameras. So right here, if you look closely, you see a modem. This is an LTE modem with 4 hotspots that's bolted into his camera through a gold mount. So it's sort of sandwiched between the camera and the battery. And then here's his cube, the little upload connection to the cloud. This is one way, wherever this camera goes, they're transmitting right to the cloud so everyone can see it. This is another company, a friend of mine named Brandon. His company is First Mile Technologies. They do satellite internet. So you have static satellite. So they can go to the Swiss Alps, point it at a satellite, and give you network wherever you want and be shooting camera to cloud with a satellite uplink. And then we've got mobile satellite. And to push this as far as I've ever pushed it, about 2 weeks ago, I was in an airplane and I decided to try camera to cloud. And so I used the airplane Wi-Fi at 500 miles an hour at 35,000 feet. Here's my red Komodo. I've got my cube and my laptop, and I am simply shooting the cube and uploading takes directly to Frame.io, which is sent everywhere. I actually made one of those review links and sent it in my Instagram from the plane, and hundreds of people were clicking on my account, and they were watching clips of me shooting in an airplane. And I was shooting all these takes until the flight attendants freaked out and made me stop. But I was walking around the plane shooting takes, and I was so overwhelming that if I can shoot camera to cloud from an airplane, you can do it anywhere in the world. And so the practicality of where this can work can go anywhere. And so that's why when we have people that have long and short lifespans, somewhere in this world, your world is, right? You might be more on the feature side. We have longer timelines. You might be on sports and news. We have very short turnarounds, and then docs and award shows somewhere in the middle. This is where camera to cloud is really going to start penetrating, because you're going to get your collaborators working together in a way that they never had been able to do that before. And we just proved that went very well, friends. We just proved that everyone can participate in this, because we've now got 11 people publishing all sorts of assets. We got cats here. Oh my gosh, we got everything. We got dogs. This is great. There's another dog here. This is a picture of what collaboration can really look like. And I don't know all these people. Many of you we've never met before, yet we found a way to collaborate securely with this type of connection. And so this is really, really powerful stuff. So that's your camera to cloud demo. And where that takes us next is how we can apply it to a real life situation. And we are so lucky to have Tom Fernette here joining us. And I'm going to turn over to Lance to kind of lead this next section to start talking about Tom and his production and how he works and what camera to cloud's done in his world.
Yeah, we've come up, I think, Michael, you came up with a cute term, court to cloud. So, a demo is one thing, and that was fantastic, seeing that real-time collaboration live like that. It's pretty amazing. But now to pivot and put context into a business, Tom Fernandez, who we introduced, the lead videographer for the Golden State Warriors. So, Tom, before we get started, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at the Warriors.
Thanks, Lance, and thank you everyone for having me today. I'm definitely really excited to talk about some of our use cases here. I'm the lead videographer at the Golden State Warriors here in San Francisco. Always grew up a huge fan of sports, originally from Connecticut, so ESPN is sort of our mecca, and always kind of wanted to work into sports, and eventually found my way into it. So here we are.
Fantastic. You mentioned yesterday about on our prep call about Wi-Fi, and you have good Wi-Fi at the new Warriors location, but then there's the mileage may vary at the different locations around the arena. So how do you adapt with Wi-Fi being a critical part of camera to cloud.
Sure. So far, Wi-Fi has been spotty in other arenas. It seems like some of the newer arenas usually have the best connections or connectivity. Currently, we're working on adding more hotspots into our equipment list, and as well as just speaking with Michael here in terms of other ways we can make sure that we output all of our camera files. So when we're at home, and then certain arenas, LA, Sacramento so far have been great, even Phoenix last night, they've worked fine. We're able to upload all of our clips from the cloud or to the cloud directly from camera. But overall, the biggest struggle as we move and continue to grow in this wireless space is connectivity where we are. So ongoing.
We have a few slides for you to kind of talk about your workflow that you do on a game day basis. So maybe you can walk us through some of this workflow.
Sure. So basically, we will travel to just about every game, home and away, where we take our red Gemini and record game action clips, some fans shots, anything to kind of tell the story of the day, the story of the game. So from our camera, we have the Teradek 655 cube, I believe, like Michael mentioned, that creates proxy files as we record to our camera directly. So from there, we can send it directly to Frame.io's camera to cloud platform. And we have editors remotely, sometimes back at home, sometimes upstairs in the arena, sometimes tucked away in a little media workroom in another arena, that can cut up the highlights, almost as they happen, and then send to our digital team to share on our social platforms.
Excellent. I think, Michael, maybe next slide, I think we have some sample screenshots of, well, that's just tech specs that you just talked about there.
Yeah, I wanted to, I think I'm going a little out of order. Sorry, Lance, but I thought because he was talking about the camera and stuff like that, maybe we kind of dive a little more into this, and then we'll look at some photos and some of the outputs.
Yeah, sounds great.
So Tom, maybe like take us through a couple of these, elements and kind of how you're actually applying it into the deliverables.
Good thing. So like I mentioned, the red Gemini is our main camera here. And we film with we use the Fujinon 20 to 120 zoom lens. So that covers 4K of the 5K Gemini sensor. From there, typically our game action stuff, we shoot the dramatic high frame rate sports stuff, of course, but that outputs to a regular speed clip to the Proxy, to the Teradek. So everything that we send back will automatically be, the OCF will be high speed, typically in game action, unless we change settings. That'll be 120 frames a second with external audio that the red will record, but the proxy file will be regular speed. So that'll be our base frame rate 2398. But we also have the ability to send back those slow motion clips. So what we do is manually transmit via the cube and go into the playback of the red Gemini and play back at our regular 120 frame second clip. So from there, we can manually transmit that. If we choose, our social team wants to work with some of the slow motion highlights or some of the regular speed highlights, we can do both.
Yeah, that time frame to get the social media is just amazing. It must make this product, this platform, differentiated for you. With I don't know any other teams that are doing something this live at an event. I mean, like put on that one slide there, Michael. I think you have a picture of Tom with his camera at the game. So he's sitting on the sideline there.
Yeah, so this is actually one of our other videographers, Janet. Go back to the last slide there. And then on the right, or actually,
sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yep, this one here on the left here, this one is actually another videographer, Ryan. And you can see there, he has the Teradek cube attached to our Gemini here. And we've got to find a way to clean up those messy cables, but that's our setup on game day. So this is a photo from one of our home games here at Chase Center. And this is basically our on the shoulder game action setup. We typically have a spot close to the Warriors bench where we're able to shoot from the floor game action stuff just under the hoop. And like I said, right next to the guys on the bench.
Oh, it's amazing. Here's a couple of some Twitter examples here, right? That you got.
Yeah.
Some
So yeah, here's some examples of things. This was actually in Detroit, I think last week, where I was filming again from the court. And these are just proxy files sent from the encoder to the cloud that we use and sent directly to our digital team to share.
And when you think about the fact that there's 50,000 views of these, and these particularly didn't really, this is an instant delivery. Tom was able to give us some pictures of his actual account. I think this is really fascinating, your actual setup. Could you take us through sort of the structure that you built for Frame.io in viewing here?
Sure thing. On the left, you'll see, as we have our games listed out in projects by date and opponent, everything that we have, if we need to cross-reference something else later down the line or go to an old clip that we have tagged or labeled, we can pull that up from a game. If we have a remote editor working from an airport or, even from the plane sometimes when we travel, we could pull up a proxy file and download it for a quick turn edit. As you can see here, like I said, we have everything broken up by the game that we have. This was our first one here on the right. You'll see clips from Summer League. So this was in Las Vegas, where we were actually able, Janet, one of our videographers, was able to film both game action and the post-game press conferences and get them up to the cloud. So we were able to share with our, again, our digital team, our PR team, everything in, much faster than we ever have done before.
And then I have a short video here of actually the account where we can actually, or Tom can actually take and make the same type of presentation link that Morgan and I were making and actually share that with other people. So how does your team actually use these types of review links?
Yeah, so this will send out, if we do have remote editors, we send this link to anybody because anybody's able to download it from the review link. This play here was the last play of our game. It was a close finish here, but this was me filming the very final moments of this game here as we won, I think, by 2 points there. But these clips, when we have a strong Wi-Fi connection, can get to the cloud in minutes. So just as soon as the game ends, our editors can have this and send it to our digital team to share on all of our platforms.
And if we play something like this, can you set up this particular instance of application?
Sure. So one thing that we're trying to do over time is create more, cinematic episodic edits, especially as we continue on during the season, some big games. So this one here, one of our editors, Nick, actually cut up a recap of our home opener this season. So you'll see here, Stephen Curry kind of addresses the crowd. We had a few time lapses in here, but most of the game action stuff is from our cameras, from the Frame.io proxy files.
75th year of the NBA, 75th year of this organization. Cannot wait to see where the season goes. Can't wait to welcome Klay Thompson back. It's going to be a great year. Let's do it.
So yeah, that's basically a summary of the game and the day in 30 seconds, if that. So as we continue to move forward with this and explore new ways to recap our events, to kind of tell the story of each game and each day, this is something we're looking to do more often.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate bringing some real world context to the demo that we just all witnessed as well. So thank you again. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Well, with that, I think we'll pivot into our panel. We have some questions that are still open and unanswered, and then so we can get into some questions. If you, let's see, Tom, let's keep it with you here. How did you come in contact with Frame.io? Give us the story on how this all began.
So a few of us in the Warriors studio team have actually been using Frame.io for a while now, and it was really through the blog. And I think as the C2C announcement was made, we kind of followed it for a little bit and eventually reached out, and here we are.
Excellent. Let's see, let's go into the question and answer line. Michael or Tom, I guess, is there any asset metadata tagging and search abilities in frame, I guess? Can you tag at the ingest, at the point of ingest?
So the tagging is actually something we do have some initial tagging tools here where I could tag these assets differently, like in progress or needs review. And then if I put this in list mode, I could start sorting by my type of tag. And so this is part of how you can start the tagging process. Inside of the asset, you also have metadata in here that you can edit and augment. Plus, you can sort and search by the actual comments that are made inside of assets. So if I go into a video file and we had one of those with a lot of comments, I think one of these had 5 comments, I could take this and I could start searching. If I just wanted to search by Dave, I could click on Dave's name. And now I would only see elements that he came through. Or if I wanted to search the word shirt, we could find the references there. We can also hashtag. So if I hashtag VFX, for example, or I'll do another one, hashtag VFX, and imagine different elements. Hashtag VFX. And then I'll do one more that is like hashtag, I don't know, color. I could start seeing my notes here. And if I clicked on a hashtag, it will only show the hashtag referenced there. So there's the ability to kind of use hashtags as a way to search as well. So there are several different ways to kind of start searching and sorting, but over time, Frame.io's searching and sorting continues to evolve, but that's an easy way to do it quickly.
All right, I have a dailies question. What happens if you have a fix or correct a sync issue on your dailies for some reason? For example, cameras or microphones, time codes do not match.
Right. Well, we've got, thankfully, Adobe makes an editing program for solutions like that. So if I went into cloud devices and I went into my video folder, I could pull, I'll just pull in one right now. But if your audio is out of sync, you would want to go in and obviously fix that. And an NLE would be the place to probably do that, or a tool like that. So I'll grab this asset here and import this. And if the audio and video were in sync or close, I could then merge those assets together, create a new asset, and now I can do that. This is take 4, I think. So if I had to move these assets and move them into a different sync situation, I could obviously do that here. That's your backup. Your solution is you're going to have to resync if your time code is not jammed. If it is jammed, it's going to be correct. This is take 4, I think. Take 4. And you won't have those problems. So the Premiere and the Frame.io integration, you can see what I just demonstrated is a direct integration with Adobe Premiere, so that I can actually browse the exact same directories inside of Frame.io and have the same access within Adobe Premiere. This is in our extension. And so when you see the Frame.io extension enabled in Premiere, you have the same browsing capabilities. I could go through all your stills and start importing all those stills that people shot. Laura's cats, for example, we could pull all that in and start working with all that media. So this is all workflow opportunities for syncing and importing and increasing collaboration in the Premiere side.
We have some questions, Michael, on frame rates with respect to proxy format. Are there options on frame rates for proxy?
So it's only good because the proxy is recorded as an external recorder today. Remember, this is external recording, so it's the cube. It's only going to be able to record the frame rate provided by the actual SDI output. SDI outputs in real time. So if you're shooting 24, 29, 60, you're only going to get that native frame rate. So that is a challenge today. What Tom does is his team marks an actual asset that they want. And let's say that asset is real time. They will mark an asset and say, okay, this is the asset that we want to be high speed. And Tom can just trigger the cube manually and play that clip out of the camera right to the cube and deliver to the editor a slow motion 120p clip. It is an extra step, it's still a day faster or something than a lot of people would usually have. So, and this is because we're in this external recorder. Once we go internal proxy transmission, it'll be a different story.
Okay, we have a question on marrying the proxy with the high res. Tom, maybe you can answer from your workflow on the Warriors. Do you ever care about the original card files, the OCFs, or do you just the proxies are good enough downstream?
For sure. So typically our use case is, just using the proxies for deliverables to digital. Of course, we still use our original camera files for any other purpose, right? Our long format TV shows, any other highlight videos, sponsorship work, community stuff, any arena videos that we do. But because of the fact that we output, to Michael's point here, the time code will not connect correctly because of the frame rate differences for the moment for our use case. Now, I think in a regular speed, if you're sending, like you were mentioning, Michael, you're sending a 2997 clip out of SDI output and you're recording 2997, that'll link up, correct?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and we're working on ways to help slow motion workflows with proxy mode. He looks unhappy, doesn't he? That's good. I grew up in Chicago, so this is great. This is just goodness to me. This is very juicy stuff. But this is an example where Tom is still getting the clip name, and the first frame of time code is the correct frame. This is the right time code start. It's just counting at the wrong number because he's shooting 120. So this is where 120 needs a playback situation, but in real-time videography, you wouldn't have this problem, and you could relink from these files. And Frame.io has, we have a support page, and if I were to go to support.frame.io, we can go in and look at workflows. I can't remember which one it is, but one of these is building how to actually do the post-production workflow. So there is a connecting things together. So inside of here are actual articles with training and workflow support for all of these things, including relinking.
You talked about some of the disconnects on frame rates with slow motion or some of those other use cases. That question here on standards, are there standards being developed for more centralized camera cloud workflows and technologies, protocols?
Not really. And I don't want to say this the wrong way, but I kind of want the community to invent it themselves. I don't want to get too quick into standards because I'm afraid it could close some door off. It's because of people like Tom being early adopters of this that he's not only revealing to us opportunities to improve the development, but he's figuring out his own workflows and inventing it as he goes. And so this is where the community has a really important role in making sure that standards don't hold you back, right? And so this is an opportunity for us to discover what these workflows could look like and how they could actually behave. And then the standard, if I'm looking for a standard, the standard that I want is that all camera companies are basically following the same trigger names. You can see there's like, not every camera sends a trigger automatically. You have to turn the triggers on to record. That's a little bit of a problem. And not every camera provides the clip name in their SDI stream. So this is where standards could be useful to people, that it's basically plug and play. And the other place for standards that I think is really important is that slide that I mentioned is really powerful, which is this one, where people are starting to build internal proxy record. We want cameras to do that, and we want cameras to standardize raw transmission to the cloud. So there are opportunities for standards here, and I think they're less workflow specific and they're more like engineering specific, so that you can make whatever workflow you want if the right standards are delivered from the product manufacturers.
Yeah, good point. Are there any limitations on the number of collaborators to work? It doesn't seem like from this, like our live demo, we had people just dynamically popping in. Is there any limitations as far as concurrent users or?
No, we have not had a limitation to that. We have a lot of we have some accounts that have 2,000 to 3,000 collaborators. So this list, this list here, we have something like, I don't know, 20 collaborators here. And if we look at the original here, there's 33 people in this project. We have frame out projects that have over 2,000 people in them. So that's pretty big number, I guess. But we haven't hit a limit yet.
All right. We have an API question. Does Frame.io have a public API?
That's right. If we go to developer.frame.io, this is where you can go and learn about the API, your camera to cloud device integration. You can go into here and sign up for the API. And we provide all sorts of documentation, actual resources for you to learn how to do that. Everything that you need to be able to develop your own solution is publicly available and very easy to search and learn about and understand and explore whatever the tools that you need to be able to do. Authorization here, there's a whole article on how to use the API to do authorization process, which everyone needs to do, and getting your token access. These are all available, developer.frame.io. And then you can also sign up for being a part of our partnership. So if I go back to the first one here, there's the ability to sign up right here. And then you get a connection with a person here. So you're talking to a human and we can help you with the development process.
All right. Tom, what's the next workflow that you're working on? What now that you've kind of got an appetite for this, for what you're using today on the Warriors, what's next?
Yeah, I think we're still new to Frame.io as a whole. Like, this is our first season utilizing camera to cloud platform, so it's kind of it's really exciting for us as we continue to use it. We haven't used it on any shoots other than games yet, so that's where audio sync, things like that, and the more standard, I guess, workflow for Frame.io, that's where we'll start to utilize it.
All right. Does this support 4K and 8K footage, and can you edit and then deliver to the higher res files?
Yeah, so
back to the proxy matching with the high res.
Yeah, today camera to cloud is 1080 because the Teradek Cube device is a 1080 encoder. But yes, you then relink it back to the raw files, and Frame.io is able to deliver high res, high quality assets inside of it. In fact, one of the nice things about Frame.io that's very powerful is we support things like ProRes 4K native. So this is actually an actual ProRes file. It's an actual UHD ProRes file that I can play back. So we can actually look at the original file in Frame.io. So there's a 2160p proxy, but there's also an actual ProRes file, which I admit my hotel internet will not be able to play back. So, but this is an actual ProRes asset. And other assets that we support, this is an actual DNX asset. So I can literally play back DNX files natively. So we support DNX, we support XDCAM, H.265, EXR. So if you're doing EXR stack, this is an actual EXR file. We support DPX file formats as well. So this is these are all assets that people can. Here's a Photoshop document. It's all stacked on top of itself, but this is an actual PSD. So you can support Photoshop natively in Frame.io as well. So the ability to kind of work with the raw files in Frame.io or the hero files is solid. The only problem though, Lance, is that you can't actually play back a raw file, an actual raw file, because web browsers like Safari and Chrome can't debayer. And we're using assets in the cloud, right? And so we need the web browser, and the web browser can't play a red raw file, right? So you can store the raw files inside of Frame.io. You can download them or import them to other tools. But in terms of using a web browser, can't look at a Sony raw file or an Arri raw file. That's not possible. But RGB type files like EXR, H.265, XDCAM, ProRes, they are all supported natively in the end.
Yeah, Tom Keene, I guess I have a question for you. This seems like a very synergistic platform for a lot of the media asset management things that we support. In particular, mapping high res and proxies within Premiere and actually having access to the high res data. what's your thoughts on how this folds into some of the workflows that we work on at CHESA?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think, you know, I know we're working on some integrations right now with AEM. And so, you know, a lot of our customer base uses Frame.io at this point for review and approve and pushing assets up from remote locations and pulling them down. So we're oftentimes actually integrating into Frame with other sort of MAM systems more and more. I mean, it's just kind of almost like a standard requirement. So we're already kind of, you know, realizing that this is, you know, especially since the acquisition, it's more of a kind of a standard operating procedure almost for folks, and it's going to get even more prevalent and just become a kind of a routine kind of thing. You know, because it is, you know, the very convenient vehicle for uploading remotely and then pulling down. I think it'll be, you know, pretty interesting once folks start using things like LucidLink to edit directly off of cloud, because that was kind of the missing component all along was, you know, NLEs and whatnot need some kind of direct attached storage or NAS storage to sort of edit. And, you know, cloud has always been a push-pull exercise, right? Because you can't really edit directly off just cloud storage. And so, you know, that was kind of the final sort of frontier, is like being able to just edit directly off the cloud. So you no longer need sort of like on-prem storage or things like that. So I think that'll complete the kind of the circle of a complete cloud first workflow. So it lends itself quite well to it. Now, I find that timeline that Michael put up was pretty fascinating, because it's like right now, like it's the bandwidth that's holding us up from completely taking, you know, going full cloud, right? We're working with proxies now. You're able to, you know, for the camera to cloud stuff, it's like, just go right from the camera into the system and just start editing. And it's just completely flattened, right? You don't have to, you're actually at the point where you're recording, editing, you know, review and approve, and then delivery. It's all right there in the same flat timeline. And then, you know, archive just gets pushed back into some deep archive storage that's in the cloud as well. So I feel like I went off on a few different
That's all right
tangents there, but yeah, I think I might have sort of answered your question a little bit there.
Morgan, from an Adobe perspective, because you didn't come from Frame.io, you're this wonderful talent that you have with this intellectual property. What are your thoughts on having this as part of your ecosystem organically within Adobe?
Yeah, I have to say I joined the Adobe team at the exact right moment. I could not be more excited that Fernandez decided to join the team. My background's actually in physical production and virtual production. So having the ability of capturing dailies faster overall creates a smoother process from start to finish. Time is money on set, regardless of whether that's a movie set, whether that's you know, a live sporting event or you know, a live news event as well. So I think camera to cloud is the future. I think no one saw the pandemic coming, and I think everybody is agreed that we'll probably never return to the exact same work scenario that we had before. And camera to cloud really just lends itself that much better to the future of what the post-pandemic work life is going to look like. But from an Adobe perspective, I think this speeds up the entire workflow process. And like Michael said, nobody wants to wait for cookies to bake. I'm going to steal that analogy in almost every conversation moving forward. I absolutely think that, you know, at the end of the day, everybody wants content faster. So camera to cloud is the best solution that I've seen thus far to get us there.
Well, thank you. That's actually good summary point for us to close. Michael, Tom, Fernette, just amazing getting just that live demo and then the context of real world customer use cases and experiences. Thank you so much for joining us. Morgan and Tom Keene, thank you as well. Thank you, audience, for participating on the live part. It was great collaboration. We will have this hopefully recorded and posted for repurposing as well. And have a great day, everyone. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.